Hi, Mark and Joella here again
Hey
from
again.
Beyond the Sit. Welcome back to the channel. So today we want to start getting into the weeds a little bit. So we've talked about some of the things that you might be feeling if you have a dog who has had some obedience training, but is still having behaviors that you don't understand and that you're finding frustrating. But I really wanted to talk about our integrated approach and how this might be something that you might need in your situation with your dog as an integrated approach, something that integrates both traditional obedience dog training and also the emotional and behavioral wellness of both the pet parent and the dog, right?
Yeah, correct.
So we're going to talk a little bit about the integrated approach and what makes it different. So after working with a lot of pets and their owners over the past years, we started seeing a pattern that people weren't failing because they didn't care. I mean, these are people, they invest good money into dog training.
And time.
And if they show up and they're trying to do things consistently, it's not that they're lazy or they're doing something wrong. There's just that what they're doing is maybe incomplete. And so we didn't throw out obedience training, we built on it, right? Yeah. So we didn't throw out the idea of training dogs. We just said, how can we build upon that to help clients, right?
Yeah. And there's always going to be that struggle. So we also, how I work with the dogs and have the dogs understand that life is going to have struggles with it. And then Joella is going to talk with the human aspect of it and show them how to deal with those struggles as well. So combining the two, where we're dealing with the struggles that the dog has and teach it how to overcome or work through those struggles or there's some of those aversions in life. And then getting the human aspect of it and combining the two, we're able to achieve better success.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So basically our integrated approach, and I'm going to be looking down at my notes, so just don't mind me if I look down at notes. But our integrated approach kind of has three critical components to it. So the first component is clear training and structure. So this is really the obedience training, which I'll let you read that since that's your area.
Dogs thrive when they know what's expected of them. Again, that's part of the training process. Once you get that clear communication to them, what the expectations are, they thrive better with those things.
And then we use, and this is for the training part, we use techniques that are rooted in consistency, repetition, and communication. So as you know, in dog training, you probably already know repetition is like super important.
Yeah,
right?
It creates the habit, habitual learning.
And the consistency, super, super important. And really good communication. So the next layer of it is behavioral insight. So we need to look at what the behavior is really trying to communicate from the dog. So we can look at, is it stress? Is it overstimulation? Is it an unmet need? Is it a breed instinct? This is a biggie. I think that people don't understand when they've had a dog and then maybe next time they get a different dog. They don't understand that sometimes a lot of it is just really that breed, and how that breed reacts, right? But we dig into the why behind the behavior instead of just trying to correct it with a leash pull or, an e-collar, or any of those training tools. We want to look at what's behind. We want to dig into what's behind that behavior, especially if it keeps continuing after we've put in place some of the traditional dog training, right? The obedience training. And so the third part of it is emotional and nervous system support. So just like people, dogs can become reactive or fearful or shut down when they're dysregulated. So I want you to really, this is a word we use with kids. They can become very dysregulated. And if you've seen a dysregulated kid, you know what I'm talking about. And dogs have the same situation. They can become super dysregulated. We focus on calming the nervous system and helping the dog and the human to feel safe, supported, and steady. So, if they are dysregulated, maybe they just need some kind of calming techniques, the human and the dog, to calm down the nervous system, to get regulated, right? And sometimes it's just breathing. Now we're going to get into some of those tools that you can use in later videos, but really sometimes it's just regulating your breath. You know, it can really be that simple. And if you regulate your breath, the dog starts to regulate how they're reacting and breathing too. This can also include things like decompression, walks, enrichment activities for your dog, body language awareness. You know, what's your body language saying? What's their body language saying? And I use energy techniques. Not everybody's going to do that or know how to do that. I will be teaching that at a very basic level in future videos, but some things that you can do, you know, with just some super simple energy techniques to regulate your dog.
Yeah. And I can attest to that. These techniques do work. And that's why we're combining these things. We have clients in the past, their pets, going through some emotional or anxiety and stress situations. Joella will be behind the scenes, tapping on those energies on that specific dog while I'm working it simultaneously. And then we get back together and we communicate, okay, what happened today? And then come to find out that it definitely did have an impact. And actually reduce the stress in the dog, allow the dog to understand what I'm trying to communicate to it through that process. So it definitely does work. Yes.
Yeah, and we'll go into some case studies later and talk about specifically what some of the things that happen that make us go, wow, you know, that really is powerful, or that was powerful, and can really shift, you know, a dog and or their owner. So that is basically what our integrated approach is about. It's about really calming that dysregulation a lot of times, and just giving some, you know, tools and techniques along that, you know, to help out both the human and the dog. So we'll be talking about that more in future videos, but just wanted to kind of explain a little bit about the integrated approach. So I hope you come back. We'll see you next time.
Great.
Bye.